Amidst confusion, critical evidence emerges, igniting speculation and urgent investigations.
To watch out for a possible house that is being encroached upon by law enforcement. Allegedly, they're going to be doing another raid tonight. All right. Another search, another raid. Ray, I think they might have cameras inside and outside working. We wouldn't be going through all this, right? Exactly. It's freaking 90%. It's a known person. Professionals in the field will tell. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I said like 75. Well, I guess it's gone up to 90, which proves my point even more. Thank you. I appreciate that. Amen. All right. The sheriff could have done a better job. And the sheriff even said that they botched the first 24 to 48 hours. He's still trying to defend himself, though. All right. I mean it was a 50-50. If they would have had cameras set up in the house that were recording, then we wouldn't be going through this, is what she's saying, because allegedly it was just being recorded over. All right, let's get back to here.
Mexico to try and find her mother. I mean, insanity. But let's start with the latest. Nano's blurting out he believes that Nancy Guthrie is being held close to home. Why is he saying that? And about an accomplice. What about those polygraphs? We've heard nothing about them. Okay, Dave, bring me up to date.
You know, Nancy, the accomplice. Let's start with the accomplice because...
And I'm so glad we're talking about the accomplice, because we've been talking about an accomplice for almost the entire time. And especially after the video came out where we see this, we see different posture, possibly different clothes. One's not a backpack. One night it's lit up. The other night it's black. And them trying to sell us the fact that it is or would be one person on a different night. Now they're finally talking about accomplices. Jay, love you, gal. Love it here and the people in it, all of you. Well, thank you. I hope you become a Crime Crew member. Stick around because we give away a lot of memberships. Or if you'd like to support the channel, you can get yourself a membership. All right, let's continue. Look at that. This is the most wild thing. I'm seeing people just starting to jump on this case, and they're looking at that and like, what is that? And their theories are ridiculous because it's like, have you not been watching this? What do you mean? What is that? Miss Kaiser says, you're my favorite. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. A much kinder crowd than when we started in the beginning. And I was told that I give a gay vibe off, and it's just not right. The low-hanging fruit, baby. While we're stopped, guys, do me a favor, hit that like button, and don't forget to make sure you get all the notifications. Thank you, Joanne. I appreciate it. We had quite a night last night. Branded channels cannot get gifted to all others. Make sure your gifting option is on. Thank you, I am Two Bear. I do appreciate that. And I cannot wait to go to Vegas. CrimeCon 2026. Jay is the boss. Applesauce. You rhymed and you didn't even know it. A poet and didn't know it. All right. Yep. Sorry.
At the time, he was the longest serving elected DA in the country.
Let's go a little back. I got caught up.
Front door, and we don't see a second person, but we know we've got an 84-year-old woman who lacks mobility and is going to need help to leave. A lot of what Nanos is saying, I really think he's just kind of theorizing in his head and just blurting out ideas because he doesn't know what to say. But Nancy,
Jack,
suggesting
Appreciate you.
Do you recall what I told you? My elected district attorney, he was like a grandfather to me, Lewis Slayton. At the time, he was the longest serving elected DA in the country. I believe it was 37.
I just got fired from my own stream. And welcome new subscribers. Victoria, good to see you. Sherry says, you crack me up. It's good. And I appreciate new people that come in. Song of the Bride, appreciate you. Your first time here, so we're shouting out to Song of the Bride. Welcome. All right, let's continue. I can't be fired because I'm in the middle of a stream. Maybe later.
Years. And he had a rule: do not speak to the press. And whenever I would be cornered coming in or out of the courthouse, I would always say the same thing. They seemingly never caught on. I would always say, I believe the jury will return a true verdict. That's it. That would be it. So all the spinning out, let's say, I'm just talking out loud, it's insane. That's a huge, huge no-no. To Franz Borchardt joining us, criminal defense attorney, founder of Borchardt's law firm, former prosecutor, professor at Louisiana State University. Franz, that's just what the defense team would love and what the kidnapper loves. He is, and it's a he is getting all of his information, anything he needs to know from Nanos.
Which I have to beg to differ because Nanos isn't really telling us much and we're asking for more. So maybe we don't want more for the air quote kidnappers, and none of it makes sense. And the room, nothing, literally nothing. I don't get it either. I don't know how somebody could be close to the family and not know that the Ring camera was there after they were already scoping the area. And so they used plants to try to disguise it, which is just dumb, right? Like dumb. Darlene, give my love to the wife and the kids and the fur babies. Absolutely. I think the perp was looking down to not trip on the steps, right? He forgot there were steps and he forgot there was a camera. So let's use the shrubbery.
I can't believe they are still talking to the press. And you're absolutely right, Nancy. If as a defense attorney, I'm just taking notes. I'm sitting back and I'm going to do a search for any and everything that was said before the arrest, because eventually they're going to make an arrest on this one. But yeah, he needs to shut his hole and stop, because he's not helping the investigation.
To Brian Fitzgibbons joining us. And Brian, I'm going to circle back to you on the possibility that this is a cartel operation, which is far-fetched, extremely far-fetched. But I'll get you to explain why so we can put that away and get it off our table of analysis. Brian Fitzgibbons is joining us. He's the director of operations at USPA Nationwide Security. What is that?
He looks serious. So I want to hear what he has to say. He's very serious about this.
He leads a team of investigators around the world finding missing people. He is a Marine vet. He is a former Marine and an Iraqi war vet. Let me talk to you about the possibility of an accomplice.
Yes, finally. All right.
Because it's been out there circulating, and then Nanos blurted it out that he thinks there may be an accomplice. Why he said that? I mean, really? It's just like waving the red flag in front of a bull. It's like putting on the overhead speaker in high school. We now know there's an accomplice.
And guess what, guys? That's what we don't want, right? That is absolutely what we don't want. But at the same time, we're all so anxious to know, why aren't they telling us what happened with the people that were detained and released? What are they doing with the evidence? So I want you to know that what Nancy's saying, obviously, is, in my opinion, is 100% correct. We do not want to tell those people our play-by-play, so to speak. And it's not our, because I'm not part of their team. They don't want to tell them the play-by-play what they're doing so that they can, do what they need to. And why I do not believe it's a cartel. The cartel is not going, in my opinion, not going to be emailing TMZ and letting the whole world know that they committed a crime. They just wouldn't do it that way. I know it. Hey, don't ask me how.
And we're coming after you, which in my mind would only make the accomplice panic. But that said, what leads you to agree or disagree regarding an accomplice?
I certainly agree with that, Nancy.
Exactly.
I've been saying this since we started covering this case.
Yes, amen.
First of all, just like we call him, the bungling kidnapper on the porch, this is indicative to me that he's being controlled and supervised by somebody, that he did not do this alone.
No way, no how, and there's no way as well, had he been the person to case this house, that he would walk up to the door and then try to cover it with that. He could have just used his hand. His hand was already blocking it. He made us be able to see him even more by going and bending down and grabbing it, because now we're like, hey, wait, what's wrong with your leg? Why are you standing like that? We can see his posture, his stance. We can get a height from him. We can try to get the possible weight. We have a lot more to go on because the bumbling idiot did that.
This was just a foot soldier that was sent forward, to disable that camera and gain entry to the house. So I think his lack of sophistication on that porch itself shows that there's someone else involved who's his superior.
Nobody is biting about the backpack. I keep saying it, and nobody's touching it with a 10-foot pole. Fitzgibbons, he comes up to the scene. Let's see him when he first approaches.
Maybe.
Who gave him the backpack? Because there is absolutely a moment he doesn't have the backpack. Where did it go? Who gave?
I've been dying to talk about this, so I'm so happy. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for just being part of the channel. All right. I appreciate you so much. And you're right, Joseph. He may be bumbling, but he got away with it so fast. But I don't think it's just him. All right. There's others, and that's what we're going to talk about now. Now, you can see, Matthew says you can see the walkie-talkie, and we talked about that, a possible walkie-talkie. We don't know for sure. They need to freeze Nancy's account and hold to exactly, Robert. Yes, but here's another thing. If they don't freeze her account and all of that stuff, we're going to get an even better idea of who did this. We want to see activity. All right, let's talk about the accomplice. I've been talking about that with y'all since the beginning.
Give it to him. Was it in the car? Did he have to go retrieve it? Did he put it back in the car? So if there is a car, trust me, he didn't leave it laying out on the front lawn. So if there's a car, is somebody in the car? Do you really think, just think about it forensically, clinically, would he do this alone? Because the reason I care, Fitzgibbons, is the more people involved, the more likely somebody's going to talk. You've got an extra girlfriend, you got an extra grandma or mom or an extra neighbor or little sister. Somebody knows something's up. And that reward is climbing. That's why I care if there's an accomplice. They can both go straight to hell and burn.
I love that she just said that. That's her age that says they can go to hell and burn. That's so funny. Sorry, guys. I got to stop there. But yes, now that we're stopped there, if you know something or you think you know something, just call in 1-800-CALL-FBI. There's an anonymous line, 520-882-7463.